everyone, it's Silvia. Welcome back to my channel. Today I was feeling a bit blue because this Mercury retrograde is wreaking havoc left and right. It's terrible. It's probably one of the worst Mercury retrograde I've ever been to. I'm saying this now, that I probably said that about Mercury retrograde of a couple of years ago. But yes, it is relentless. It's causing me so many problems, so many issues, from not so much communication but with technology, which is obviously related. And just to give you one example, I was filming a video for my members this morning. I had to film it 3 times because every time something wasn't working, and it was a different thing every time, so it wasn't just easy to fix it. It was just one time it was microphone, then it was the lens was upside down, then anyway 3 times. And it's very frustrating, obviously, but that is something that we need to go through. It's something that we know. It's something that it's very I would say, people have been writing about it, have been talking about it, they've been talking about astrology related aspects to this, they've been talking about tarot related aspects of this. We have known that since the dawn of time, when Mercury is retrograde, things happen that you don't necessarily want. So I am in my Zen space, or at least I'm trying to be, and so I'm kind of keeping my fingers crossed that this video will turn out okay. Because I honestly, and every time that I say this, I'm like, am I jinxing myself? And no, am I jinxing it? Am I jinxing it? So this is the, the kind of state of mentality that I'm in right now. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. We'll see. So today we're going to talk about what's on my Christmas wish list, and it's 100% mass market stuff. And the reason why I have mass market things is because I would like very much my husband to take a look at it, and what is on my Christmas wish list is for him to just pick a present and buy for me. And because he's already gifted me with a London musical ticket as for Christmas, as a Christmas present. And next week I'm going to be in London. I'm going to be presenting the Discombobulator, which is Andrea Aste's magazine about the occult and magic. We're going to present it together with other writers of the magazine at the College of Psychic Studies. So it's an incredible adventure. I cannot wait. And it's going to be so much fun, but I'm also very nervous. So I'm definitely going to go to a musical as well, because every time I go to London I have to go to a musical. I love musicals, not at the movies, ironically, I can't stand them, but when it's at the theatre, it's a completely different experience. It's an adventure and I love it, and I watched many musicals when I used to live in London. So I'm going to watch Hadestown, and I cannot wait because I haven't watched that one. And so because that was, my present from my husband for Christmas, and he still wants to buy me a deck. He always buys me a deck for Christmas. So it's going to be an affordable mass market deck because I don't want him to spend too much. So we're going to have a look at all of the decks that are on my Christmas wish list. So you can see this one here already, the Oracle of the Vampire Fae. I'm so excited about this one because with my members, we're actually studying vampire folklore across multiple vampire themed decks, and it's so much fun. I'm preparing so much material. We're doing quizzes, we're doing custom spreads, we're doing all sorts of vampire related themed activities. And it's kind of fun. So I've actually moved all of the recurring videos, such as the Energies of the Week videos and also the members readings, to the deck study. So we're actually using those decks for those recurring videos as well. So this one is exciting because it is about vampire fae, and I think that the fairy world is a world that can very well be assimilated into the vampire world, but in a very whimsical way, or it could be whimsical depending on the fairies. So it could be whimsical, but it could also be very sensual. And so I'm really excited to just grab a copy of this deck. This is a Blue Angel deck. It's by Tess Whitehurst and it's been illustrated by Melanie DeLong. I don't have a release date. It was supposed to be available already now in Australia. I haven't seen it anywhere. They have not really advertised it from the Blue Angel, and there's a delay in the release. By the way, all of the decks that I'm going to show you today, if you see the prices, please know that these are US dollars prices. And the reason why I'm doing that is because these are decks that I have on my Amazon US website rather than my Amazon Australian website, because in Australia we don't get releases. We talked about it many times. I'm not going to repeat myself. So I'm actually more interested in the new releases in the US. So these are the releases in the US. The prices are in US dollars. If you're in Australia, please add to the conversion. So the Oracle of Vampire Fae. So there's not a lot. It's a 52 cards oracle, which is really always really cool. I like that. So if we scroll down, we actually do see it will be distributed by Llewellyn in the US, not in Australia. Obviously, Blue Angel is Australian. So as you can see here, we can see a couple of examples of the cards here. Wild Medicine, Feed the Spirit, Our Own World, and Lady in White, The Light. So it feels like it's probably more like a key sentence rather than a key word, but it's more than a title. So that's what I can gather from these images, which is actually okay for me. Had it been just the title, I mean, the illustrations are so good, I would have probably bought it anyway. But just the title is just not enough for me, unless it's a deck that deals with something that I know very well. Like it could be a yokai based deck with just the title, but we'll see later. There's a yokai deck in there as well in my wish list. So really excited about this one, and I will be, whenever it comes, I will be adding it up to the deck study for my members. So I'm very excited about this one. So the next deck on my wish list, please mind that this one it doesn't have a release date yet, but because it says free delivery Friday, May the 8th, it does suggest that it will be released in 2026, so it cannot possibly be in my Christmas wish list. However, because I know that there's like 1 million people looking for the Haunted Manor Oracle by Syrian Shadow, this is the Haunted Cottage Oracle. So it's not the same, because I've already received messages from people asking me to verify that I did. And it's unfortunately it's not. This doesn't mean, and it doesn't even look like it. So if you know of a few cards of the Haunted Manor Oracle, you will recognize that it's not this one. This one, however, will be mass market, whereas the Haunted Manor unfortunately was a reward from a Kickstarter campaign for a couple of years ago, and then it was not reprinted. It is so very difficult to find. There's so many people willing to pay a lot of money for that Oracle deck, me included, apart from the lot of money part, because I don't have a lot of money. But this one looks just as interesting. We are not given that much as a preview because because it will be released months ahead, but you know, it looks already quite interesting with these cards here, and so I will be quite happy to at least check it out when it comes out. For me, Syrian Shadow is a fantastic creator. I definitely love their work. One thing that I have to say though, I don't have all of their decks. Some of them resonate with me more, some a bit less. For example, the Gothic Literature Tarot is gorgeous. I love it, and I think it would pair really nicely with the Haunted Cottage Oracle. But there's other decks that I don't have. The ones published by Rockpool, for example, I don't have, simply because I did have them, I acquired them, I looked into them, and they were just not for me, which is perfectly fine. But let me just see, scrolling down, if there's any image. No, there's no images related to this one. So I was kind of up. It's just because it is, you know, it's going to take a few months for it to be released. But you never know, and I just wanted to point it out. It's not the Haunted Manor, unfortunately it's not, but it is the Haunted Cottage, which could be really interesting. So the next deck on my Christmas wishlist is another oracle. It's the Old Style Oracle. This comes with 52 cards, and it is by the same author, Alexander Ray, that released also the Old Style Tarot, which I actually really like. And I'm just thinking, you know, because I'm always looking for pairings for decks that I like, the Old Style Oracle feels like, because it's the same author, same style, it is meant to be paired with the Old Style Tarot, which normally would probably make me a bit reluctant to try and pair it, because I want to try different pairings. But when it just matches the style, it matches the vibes, I'm like, why not? And let's just have a look at, there's a few cards here, so I'm just gonna try and let's see if I can show you these cards. So Waterfall, it looks like it's mostly with keywords, sorry, with titles rather than keywords, which generally speaking for me is a deal breaker. I don't want to contradict myself, but at the same time, that is the first thing that I check. If that doesn't show keywords, if the cards don't show keywords, I don't immediately exclude the deck. I just look for other things, and if other things are present, then in that case I will still consider buying it. So if we look at this one, we got a rose, then we've got the door. It feels very Lenormandy for me, very almost between Keeper and Lenormand. It is very, very beautiful. That's never been a undoubted. It's always been really, really beautiful. Look at this card. It's called Flight. So absolutely gorgeous. I actually really like this old style. The Witch is such a beautiful card, and the Calling, and these are the backs, of course. So we don't necessarily have a lot of examples out of 52 cards. You know, we have like a bunch. But I'm thinking it will be a bit of a mix between titles and maybe something that can be akin to keywords. But because the art style is so gorgeous, it's definitely on my Christmas wish list. But let's talk about the elephant in the room, because I've talked about the Blood Moon Tarot so many times before. This deck has been on my wish list ever since I've actually heard that it was going to be released mass market. Unfortunately, there's been a massive delay. It was actually supposed to be released on the 5th of November, then it was moved to the end of November, now it's been moved to December. And in Australia, it's actually been moved to April. I have absolutely no idea what's going on. I don't think that there's delays in production. I think that we've seen a lot of example of the cards, so it's probably not that. It might be Mercury retrograde that is striking again, but I'm not entirely sure. In any case, this will forever be on my wish list. It's such an amazing deck. I do have the indie edition of this deck. It is so beautiful. I cannot wait to see what they're doing for the mass market edition. I don't know, it's just, let me just show you the cards just briefly, because I always show them to you anyway. But look how beautiful it is. It's gonna come with a really nice guidebook as well, which I actually don't have. I don't have the coffee table edition of the indie guidebook. And the cards are borderless. And I do understand that there's been a little bit of tweaking in the exposure. So if you were, like me, a bit concerned about how dark some of the cards are, apart from the fact that it's never been a deal breaker for me, but I will have you know that there has been a little bit of tweaking on the exposure. So these ones, the cards from the mass market edition, will be a little bit brighter. So we will be able to see properly everything. And I will have to say, they look fantastic. I really like them borderless as well. I would never trim the borders on my indie deck. First of all, because it's a collectible item, now it's very difficult to find. I do have the deluxe edition on top of everything. But it also feels like if I would get rid of the borders, the card would become too narrow for me. And so I'm interested to see how they solved that issue with the mass market edition, because it doesn't have borders. So that would be very interesting. I'm imagining that it's not just a matter of zooming in. We'll see, we'll see. I call this my Pan's Labyrinth deck because there's so many cards that remind me of Pan's Labyrinth, and these are the backs. And yeah, very, very excited about this one. And another deck on my wish list is the Arcana Folia Oracle. This one comes with 50 cards. They are round, and if you've been following my channel for any length of time, you will know that that is not necessarily something that I feel that I can manage. It's not easy for me to handle a round deck. But as I was saying about the keywords / titles on the cards, that is one of the many things that I actually look at whenever I need to decide whether I want to buy a deck or not. Is that a deal breaker? Well, if nothing else is present, so say for example, if I don't like the art style, if it doesn't really give me good vibes, if it doesn't feel like it will resonate with me, then obviously this will be a deal breaker, together with other deal breakers. So I would not buy that deck. But this deck's art style, I just love it so much. And it's also because recently I'm reading a lot of folk horror. So you guys know that one of my favorite genre is horror when it comes to books and also movies. And I normally prefer a psychological or cosmic horror, or let's say ghost stories about ghosts. My favorite trope is haunted houses. There's no two ways around that. I just read all of the haunted houses books that are out there, but I also really like a possession story. For the time being, I'm actually reading The Exorcist House. I have to say that I'm not liking it as much as I hoped I would. I was following a lot of book talk TikTokers and booktubers, and I really was expecting probably too much. It's still a great book, and so far I'm still liking it, so I can't really say anything bad about it. But I was told that it was so scary, and maybe I haven't gotten to the really scary part, but I am 60% through. We'll see. So going back to this, folk horror, really cool, really cool. And there's this element of rustic foliage, or the decline of nature, everything that is slowly wilting away and rot, and it's really cool. And so this one reminds me a lot of those themes. I don't know, maybe because of the art style. As you can see here is a great, I love it. I really love the art style. I also love the colors, and it feels very autumn vibes. So 50 cards, as we said, they are round, they are edged as well, which is really beautiful. I will find a way to handle the deck, and on top of everything, I really like the fact that we've got keywords, so serendipity, but also we have like an introspection in those keywords, because as you can see at the bottom of the card here, it says fated encounter, and that relates to serendipity, of course. So I'm really intrigued by these cards. Mindset with find a different perspective, warrior spirit with stand your ground, warning with pay attention to red flags, detour with change course, and companion with a discerning friend, soulmate, someone from your soul tribe, and so on and so forth. And then we have the backs, which are even more beautiful than the front. So I'm really excited about this deck. So another deck that is on my Christmas wish list, which is, I believe it might actually be already out. It's just that obviously it's not out in Australia. So it's on my Christmas wish list. This is the Visionary Woman Tarot. I really want this deck, not because, let's say, the aesthetics are not necessarily my preference. I do like bold colors, but the aesthetics in specific are just not the reason why I want this deck. The reason why I do is because of the women that are portrayed as personalities associated to the cards in the tarot. So let me just quickly show you. There's also a video, but guys, I'm not going to play the video because honestly, Mercury retrograde is just being so graceful right now as to let me film this video. I'm not going to attempt it. So let's just have a look at the cards, and if you want, obviously you can Google it and you can find the video on Amazon. So Visionary Woman Tarot, as you can see, we got Rachel here. So obviously I'm very excited to see Rachel in a tarot deck. I cannot see, I think she's here as well. So this is the World card. I think it's a great idea to put Rachel as the woman symbolizing the World card, because I really do look at her and get these kind of vibes. So I'm very excited about that. Then we've got, you know, the Fool card and the Magician, and I'm expecting the guidebook, which has 160-page full color guidebook. That is not a lot. 160 pages are not like a huge chunky monkey of a book, but it depends on how big the thumbnails of the cards will be. Obviously, if you have a full page, you don't have a lot of writing, but if it's just a small one, then they will fill the pages in with text, which is what we want. So I'm very excited to see and to also learn a lot about these. So you guys will know me, I love a deck that tells me something about people that existed or archetypes. For example, the Magician, Martyrs and Madmen talks about people that historical figures, so they existed, they were alive at a certain point. But our tarot, for example, Lisa Shipman, is one of my favorite decks of all times. And it's very similar to this one because the concept is about talking about our as a feminine power tarot. So the figures that are represented in those cards are just so inspiring and empowering. And I'm kind of hoping that this is the vibes behind this deck as well. If you guys have this deck, because I believe it has been released in the US, please let me know in the comments below. How does it read for you? Does it resonate with you? Do you like it? So there's a few figures, of course, here, and I cannot wait. So I'm also kind of understanding by looking at the Eight of Swords that we're looking at the fully scenic deck. I'm expecting that to be the case, at least I hope so, but very excited about this one as well. So another deck that is on my wish list is the Outlander Oracle. Now I'm confused because I see here that it said, well, I knew that it was already available in the US. I know that it's not in Australia, but I see here a release date July 15. Which I'm not entirely sure it was the case, because I remember I was watching videos of, but I don't know, maybe it has been released in July. I'm not entirely sure. Obviously, I think that it might have just been made available in Australia, or maybe we're around the date of release. So it might be available for purchase here. If it is in Australia, then if you have it, please let me know. It is in my wish list for sure, because I just really love the show. But it's also because, honestly, even if I didn't know the show, looking at these cards, they're so beautiful and they're so very expressive and eloquent and a bit chatty that I think it would be a great deck anyway, and I will definitely acquire it. So the colors are amazing. I really love them. And it goes the same as to what I was saying for the Arcana Folia. It's just that time of the year in which, for me, because I like reading this genre of books that deal with these kind of vibes, winter kind of vibes, that I actually appreciate a winter deck, if that makes sense. So we got keywords, which I always appreciate. With ingenuity, this one was a caregiver, which is not necessarily a keyword, it's more like an archetype, but it's fine. And as you can see here, journey, lovers and wanderers, and there's so many more. I really look forward to see this deck in person. I'm expecting great things out of it, which is not necessarily a good thing for me, because then I set myself up for failure by wishing it to be more than what it is. So I'm just gonna have to try and zen myself down to lower my expectations, but I'm really excited about this one and I like all about it. Even the very artistic kind of borders, as we can see here, I actually really appreciate them. So we'll see. And last but not least, when it comes to Oracle decks, this is the one that I was talking about earlier. This is the Yokai Oracle deck, Wisdom and Guidance from the Spirits of Japan. I cannot wait for this deck to be released. We do seem to share the same release date, November 25th, between Australia and the US. I'm not entirely sure whether they will make available and hopefully will not be pushed, but this looks like an amazing deck. Let me just show you the cards and the reason why I think that. First and foremost, well, okay, we will have a book, obviously, but when you look at the cards, there's a lot, it packs a punch. So if you see here, for example, it does give you the name of the specific yokai that has been portrayed on the card. So this is the Enenra Smoke Spirit. So it also gives you, let's say, a translation of the name or what it shows. And then it also gives you keywords, and more than one, which always makes me very happy. So we got grace, mystery, and subtle beauty. And then when we're looking at this one, for example, this is the Oni, ogres or demons. It's more like a specific type of spirits. So fear, courage, and strength. And then unfortunately we only have one other example, and that's all. And we got the Yata Garas, the three-legged crow. I don't actually know about this yokai, but this one seems to be pointing to guidance, direction, and purpose. So I'm very excited. I absolutely love the art style. I think that this will be the deck that makes me re-evaluate my Taroki Yokai Tarot, published by Nui Nui. Because I published a video about all of my yokai based decks, and the favorite one is, well, it's always the Yokai Yochi, but when it comes to mass market decks, is the one released by Los Carabeo. But the other one that I've got, which has more colors, I think it will resonate a lot and it will combine really well with this Yokai Oracle, and so I cannot wait. And then we're going to look at a few tarot books that are on my wish list, because I never show them, but they're always on my wish list, and I do tend to buy a few of them. I believe that even having been reading tarot for, I don't even know, close to 40 years, close to 40 years, I still need to evolve together with the times, and I still need to learn. And so I am someone who would actually buy a lot of tarot books. So this one is called The Tarot and the Psychology of the Soul. Obviously, it's super duper interesting for me, having dedicated the last 10 years of my life studying psychology and neuroscience. This is something that really excites me. So exploring the archetypal mirrors of the psyche. This one is, unfortunately, I could only find the photo on the Kindle edition, which it doesn't mean that it's just the Kindle edition. There is the possibility to buy it on paperback. I don't know the release date, to be honest. I do feel like it's already been released. It's a Wiser book, so I will look into that, but I just wanted to show you this. So it's by Mariana Luis, and I'm just really excited to see what this is about, because it says, with a focus on inspiration and inclusivity for all tarot levels, it begins by establishing how we can view the cards as reflections, reflections of the psyche via depth psychology, and walks readers through how to use the cards for the inner work and shadow work to answer the questions, how am I meant to live? So it looks like it's using or is starting from a psychological knowledge or base, and then moving on to talk about archetypes in our lives, and using tarot to dig deeper into these archetypes, which is something that I'm really interested in. So it's definitely on my wish list. And obviously a book that is for sure on my wish list is The Magic of Tarot, Your Guide to Intuitive Readings, Rituals and Spells by Sasha Graham. I'm going to meet in person with Sasha next week, because she's also one of the writers on the Discombobulator magazine, just as me. Not just as me, she's here and I'm here. But in any case, I'm so very excited to meet with her and get to know her. And so at the College College of Psychic Studies, they will have all of her products for sale. So I'm definitely gonna grab a copy and ask her to sign it for me when I'll be there. This is obviously something that I'm very interested in. I always check out new books that can give me an additional layer of interpretation of the cards, or can give me a different perspective. So I'm very excited about this one as well. And another book that is on my wish list and I'm very excited about is Become an Exceptional Tarot Reader, the card meanings and skills you need to ace every reading, by our lovely Anthony Dawn and Teresa Reed has been writing a foreword to this book. I'm so very excited. I know that it will be available in December, at least in the United States. I don't know when it will be available in Australia, but I will make sure to grab a copy if I can. And maybe it will be available in the UK when I'm there, so you never know. In any case, I actually really love the cover. I have to say, these colors are so beautiful and reminding me of these current vibes, autumn vibes, etc. Even though I keep on talking about autumn vibes where I live in Australia and it's springtime and it's already 30 degrees today, so I don't necessarily, there is a little bit of a disconnect to that. But in any case, this is a beautiful, it looks like it's going to be a fantastic book. So Becoming an Exceptional Tarot Reader, I think it's a very ambitious goal, but I also really like the oomph of the title. So this is, it says here, it's a combination of Anthony's 20 plus years of teaching tarot. So I'm expecting it to be packing a lot of really insightful chapters on how to really get to the next level. And I'm teaching tarot as well. I'm teaching tarot to my members, so maybe it will become one of the books that I will recommend to my members, because obviously it's not just about me teaching you how to read tarot at an advanced level. I'm also actually recommending a lot of books, because I also recognize that there's only so much that I can teach you in a video, but there's also a lot that I can recommend. So really excited about this one too. And last but not least, there's another book, but this one is a fantasy book. So I just wanted to ask you guys, because I have absolutely no idea. So this is called Two Twisted Crowns, the Instant New York Times and USA Today bestseller, part of The Shepherd's King, written by Rachel Gillick. Every time, and I mean every time that I type tarot and I do a research, this book comes up. I'm expecting it to be a fantasy or maybe magic related book. I'm not entirely sure, and this looks like it's probably part of a series, and I don't even know whether it's the first one. But the reason why I'm putting it here is because I'm actually asking for a recommendation. I generally prefer horror genre to the fantasy, but when there's magic, I actually also like the magic, the fantasy genre as well. So have you read this book? What do you think about it? Because it's so weird, because it says it's part of religion, spirituality, new age, divination, tarot. So the category, let me just show you here at the top, down from the banner that says Great on Kindle, it says a Kindle store, Kindle ebooks, religion, spirituality, new age, divination, tarot. And I'm like, but this one is a novel. So I'm not entirely sure whether it's a how should I say this, miscategorization, like they made a mistake. It could very well be, and it says it's the book two of the Shepherd King. So, but then it says science fiction and fantasy. So I don't know, does it deal with tarot? Please let me know. I mean, I might actually read it just for the sake of it. I do read a lot, but I'm very interested to know if you know anything about this book. I do not tend to read the blurbs I read. I do not tend to read the synopsis, because I just want to be completely devoid of any kind of expectations when I read a book. I make a lot of mistakes, as I was saying earlier for The Exorcist House. I really raised my hopes up and now I'm kind of disappointed, so I don't want to do that for this one as well. So just let me know if you have read it, or if you can tell me the first one, which one that is, and if that's dealing with tarot. Maybe it's not, maybe it's just dealing with divination. I have no idea, but let me know. So that was it for today. This is my Christmas wish list. I'm always interested to hear your opinion, so please let me know in the comments below what your Christmas wish list looks like, and I will definitely check it out. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye!